it's interesting because like the second you become an important person, things need to get done, right? And at some point in time, as I said, the amount of work that is there to be done is more than the amount of hours that are there. And people can say, oh, you have to prioritize, right? You have to say, okay, I'll only do this, this, and this, and then everything below this line, I'm not going to do.
Yes.
But again, depending on the impact of your work, you can't say, oh, I'm not going to do this thing, but this thing is due in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and because of the impact of it, you have to start now, right? I'm not saying you should spend your whole weekend and stuff like that. Again, it heavily depends on your role. It heavily depends on where you are in your career. I'm in a stage in my career now where very early on, I didn't even think about work over the weekend, right? There's different stages, right? When you're very early on, fresh out, you don't think about, like, you basically compartmentalize. There's work, 9 to 5. After 5, you close your computer, right? Basically leave your thing at home. Then you start to then gradually realize that, okay, as you kind of climb up, the responsibility becomes more, right? You now own maybe a small service or you own this thing and you're in charge of this thing. Depending on when the deadlines are or when things need to happen, you need to do more. And so a lot of it is mental power. So you start to use your brain to work when you're not at work. You understand what I mean? Sometimes you're basically sleeping or you're eating or you're watching TV and it just flashes. It's like, man, I need to do this thing. Or maybe I was stuck on this bug. How do I fix this bug, right? And the more you think about it, eventually you're going to get it done. But ultimately, that energy that you're expending, you're not doing it during your 9 to 5. You're doing it outside, right?
Yep.
You're doing it maybe over the weekend, maybe this thing. And for a lot of people, just so your weekday goes well, you have to do some prep on Sunday.
Yeah.
You have to do some work on Sunday. And the question I didn't want to pose, is that a bad thing?